Are silver prices finally catching up to gold? Joining me today is Will Rhind, CEO of GraniteShares. Will, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So are we closing in on the gold-silver ratio here finally?
I think maybe a little bit, but not in a kind of absolute term. I think that silver prices have been under a bit of pressure, along with gold, trading a little bit more like the industrial side of things at the moment. But I'm not quite ready to say we're close to gold yet.
As you know, I was telling you about the Denver Gold Forum. We were discussing sentiment, and many analysts and experts I speak to are saying that we've seen a bottom for gold in 2018. Do you agree?
I don't know. Certainly prices are low relative to historic norms, and certainly I think compared to equities, compared to even other commodities, gold looks like has value here. It's just hard with the dollar being so strong as it has been, and that's tough when you think about the effect that has on major consuming powers such as China, such as India. So gold more expensive, as those currencies weaken. And therefore, I think inflation maybe in China needs to pick up a little bit from where we are here, kind of create that demand.
Right. So it's hard to be bullish on the metal right now.
Yeah.
Hard to get behind it.
I think in terms of calling a bottom right now, it's bullish long term because gold clearly at this sort of price, I think represents good value compared to the all-time high, obviously in gold that we saw a few years ago, and compared to equities, compared to bonds, compared to real estate, other asset classes. It certainly looks attractive here.
Well, what about the economy? Do you think we're ahead of ourselves here? Do you think it's a rosier picture than reality? How do you see it?
I think that if you look at previous business cycles, then one kind of classic indicator in terms of this, where we are in the business cycle, is when you start seeing commodity prices rising. That typically means we're in the kind of end, either the third or fourth stage, or the kind of final innings of the business cycle. And I think with energy prices that have really risen the way that they have, you're talking $80 oil now, that's a big indicator, along with another the commodities complex, that we're close to the end of this business cycle, which is a sort of harbinger for equities.
Shifting gears here, let's talk the Paris Motor Show. The theme this year was focused on electric vehicles, and of course we have to talk platinum and palladium now, and silver. Could we see an increase in demand if EVs is really here to stay and is the future?
Yes, I think so. So the big sort of talk is the future for these metals in the automotive industry. And one of the big talking points, of course, you see palladium prices increase fairly dramatically over the last few months, now trading at a $200 or so premium to platinum, which is almost unheard of, almost getting to the same level now as even gold. Why is that happening? Well, because the market is talking about increased SUV demand, particularly here in the States, increased demand for gasoline powered vehicles in Asia, which is obviously the palladium story because that's used in auto catalysts. But I think from my perspective, one thing that people should be focusing on is the potential for substitution. With this big difference now, $200 between platinum and palladium, it's got to provide some incentive for automakers now to think about switching palladium for platinum in auto catalysts.
Okay, so better growth story for platinum over palladium for you?
Well, I think longer term, if you think about what's happening and the bull case for palladium, a number of things as well as the lack of or constraints around supply, particularly because palladium comes from Russia.
Right.
But with the substitution effect, I think for platinum, there's a good longer term story. Also, when we're talking about clean technology, we're talking also about hydrogen fuel cells. And hydrogen fuel cells use platinum in their process. So platinum a catalyst, hydrogen is the fuel. And so that is something that is gaining a lot of traction in China and Asia, and I think will be a good demand source going forward.
All right, Will Rhind, thank you so much for your thoughts today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow.